Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So could have been, I guess, worse for the Bulls based on the way we looked early in the morning. It's good to see a few things make sense, whereas yesterday you had a harsh sell-off, so you had some follow-through to the downside. So if you were out, you went out short, you could have made some money basically covering on the fourth down day, as well as if you got out of the way, there were some spots to buy the stretch of the rubber band for a quick trade, and now the question is what's next? I'm doing a webinar for Redler All Access, so I need to be quick. So I want to just run right through it. You look at the SPX, and you'll see that a lot of things technically have added up. Whereas this was your reversal here. This is when it held and broke above the downtrend, made its high, retest before the Fed, came up here, and this is when it was like a little wishy-washy. I actually personally thought it was going to hold around here, get some better action, and make new highs. And then yesterday, lots of guys got ran over. I think I was pretty much done trading by 11:30 yesterday. So if so, you came in today saying, you know what, maybe this 2040 sticks. Okay, I put the chart on Twitter saying, look at this zone, and I was there pre-market, opened up a little bit higher, and then you had a bit of a doji slash bottoming tail. Not the strongest move off of this. So it wasn't like everyone was fighting to get involved to be the first guy in, but could get you, with the quarter end next Tuesday. Maybe it wants to come up and retest this, but again, you're not talking about blockbuster moves here. When I looked at the IYT yesterday, that's what gave me a little bit of a cautionary a signal to perhaps not look to be so aggressive buying a dip, considering that this looked like it was about to make highs here, and then not only did it have a pone down move, it took out that the support, which was the same support that this was like 2040 in the S&P, and now it came all the way down to the 200-day without a pause. So if you just cost averaged the whole way down, you were pretty much in trouble. But anyway, now that this held the 200-day, see what kind of bounce happens there. I also posted the chart of the IBB. The buy zone was 333 to 335. I think some guys made some really good money today. Guys that were strategic, some that actually got short here and covered on the 8-day, or got short here, covered, and then re-shorted and made some money yesterday. Then today made some sense looking at the 50-day, right? Right there, boom. Made some sense if you were out here or out there. You had some, the luxury of buying there. You had a red dog reversal, and you also could have bought in the hole and waited. So now, does it mean that it's going back to highs? No, but if it was a good trade for you today and you booked it and took it off, congratulations. If you, had size and left a third overnight, maybe, you get a little bit of follow-through tomorrow, 4 or 5 points on a Friday. That wouldn't be so bad. But overall, first green candle after 4 down days, you got to take two sides of the trade. And I made a little bit in this morning. I think Sperling and some of the guys did really well with it. And now we'll see if there's a little bit more of a retracement. So if you, shorted here, shorted there, covered into this, bought this, maybe you sell here, and there might be guys that say, I'm going to re-short this, and then look for the H-cell setup because they think that this biotech run is over. For right now, a bit of a harsher move than we've seen, but you've also seen, test here of the 50-day, test here of the 50-day. We haven't seen a move sit below it since October, so we'll see what the story is there. Qs, not a great big bounce, but again, if you met some resistance here, if you got out of the way when it broke this upper support, today you were able to buy a little bit, a little bit of a reversal into that candle, but again, this came down way too far as far as showing commitment, so I'm not sure the type of bounce we're going to get, but you measure resistance, we'll see if that could even happen. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the futures. So as far as just stocks, I focused on Apple in the morning. I talked about focusing on Apple, on Facebook, maybe Twitter, some of the key stocks, BIIB, CELG. Actually, I didn't talk about CELG, but that's where guys on the VTF were focused for some type of bounce. So you go to Apple first. Got a nice little bounce. That's where I made my money in the first 20 minutes, and I was a little bit overnight. This is when it failed at the resistance around 128. Here, it held the 50-day, first green bar. Not sure how much more it's going to get, but you could see 125, 125.50 for option expiration. It was semi-strong today, one of the first ones to go up. We'll see if if it tries to continue tomorrow, or if it's just a pause before more downside. But lower end of the range made some sense. Facebook wound up holding the prior breakout area. definitely switched composure a few times during the course of the day, but overall held here. So holding this low would be sort of, I guess, constructive moving forward and then rebuilding. Twitter also bounced back above this 50 area. I think it closed right a little bit below it, but overall, look where it came from. Broke out. If you sold some strength, great. If you got caught and stopped out there, okay, it happens. But now it's holding in here again, so we'll see if it builds to continue. So, this is something to watch each day moving forward. CELG was down $2, went up $2, and gave you a nice cash flow trade. If you sold the strength here, okay, you had the chance again to buy into the dip, into support, and went from down 2 to up 2 and closed off the highs, and has a lot of work to do. I don't think this is going to be at highs anytime soon, but trading wise, perhaps it tries to see a little bit more. What did BIIB do? Not as, I guess, not as not as potent of a bounce, but it did come off the lows from here all the way down to here. Made some sense. The banks, what did they do? I think they bounced a little bit. Pretty broken. Not much to really talk about, except for if you saw this tiny little red dog reversal right here, okay, which came in at the top end of the range, and you got out of some of your banks. You didn't have to be in this noise or in this downdraft, and then today, went from red to green, so that's worth a trade. The TLTs talked about it coming a long way. Guys in the VTF actually made some money, shorted. I don't remember who we were talking about, but yesterday did a small little red dog reversal. And I was like, if it breaks this ascending channel here, you could see downside. This bar engulfed this move after a big move since the island bottom, and now, boom. So that, again, taking advantage of parts of ranges. This accelerated trend broke right here to the downside. On this gap up, that was your re-entry on the island bottom. If you stayed with it to even just here, great job. You missed this portion of it. If you waited for your first engulfing bar after a big move with filling that gap, you got paid from the short side, and now I guess we'll see what happens next. So all in all, the market's definitely moving around. There's more volatility. There's definitely more of a two-way trade. Definitely easy to get caught with your pants down if you're complacent, and I think a lot of guys did that yesterday. If you get out of the way yesterday, today you were able to catch the rubber band at the bottom end of it, for a bit of a snapback. Now the question is, was today's low the low of the week? Maybe. Is it the low of the next few weeks? I don't know. Again, end of the quarter is on Tuesday, so maybe they want to, rally things a little bit. Or not. You never know. You also have options expiring tomorrow. So at this point, we talk about low gross, low net, meaning don't have max positions, max shares. I think there's enough money to be made now, both sides of the trade. Whereas if we gap up tomorrow, there'll be spots where people are going to try and sell it to get short. If we gap down tomorrow, there might be some buy areas versus today's lows. If you want to be committed to some trades that still act well, that you have a thesis with, just do that with a little less size. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's been definitely a long week. There's been lots to do. Hopefully you've been on the right side, and we'll keep figuring out as it plays out. Have a great night. Tomorrow is Friday, so there'll be no long morning call, and my note will be abbreviated. Have a good one.